Good morning. Happy Easter. It's Easter Sunday. And before I go to church this morning, I wanted to talk about a couple things real quick. You know, we celebrate Easter, Jesus, and forgiving our sins and what have you. And it's really important. But one of the things that really made a huge difference in my life also is forgiving myself. And I think that, you know, we go through life a lot of times. And I remember about 15 years ago, I was working for a company in Arizona called Express Flooring. And I was a great salesperson. I was able to make a lot of money. I was able to make the company a lot of money. I was able to make a lot of really happy customers out there because I really followed through and did the things I was supposed to do for my customers. And for some reason, I was always my biggest enemy. I would always self-sabotage. I'd come really close to some great achievement, and then I would just quit right at the end. And or I would find a reason to fail, almost intentionally. It seems like, but even though it was kind of subconscious. And my boss, Jerry, told me one time, he goes, "Joey, why the hell do you hate yourself so much?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I thought he was nuts. I was like, "What do you mean? I drive a nice car. I got a Cadillac. I have this awesome place in Scottsdale. I have a home in Michigan." I said, "I'm making good money. I've got girls." I said, "I've got life by the balls, man." He goes, "Joey, you hate yourself. Why do you hate yourself so much?" And I thought he was nuts. I was so lost in my own world at that time that I really didn't take time to really self-evaluate. And I was drinking every night, even though I thought I was happy. I was drinking every night. I was constantly trying to fill voids. I was out at the clubs trying to pick up chick after chick, sometimes two in the same night or whatever. And I was a mess, man. I mean, I was living the life, but it was ultimately to fill a bunch of empty spaces. And a lot of those empty spaces were actually when almost 10 years later was when I finally realized it. That self-sabotaging was, in fact, I don't know how he saw through me when I didn't even see this, but he was right. There were so many things about my life that I absolutely hated about myself. And even though I believe in God and I believe in Jesus Christ and I believe in the whole thing, I know that they forgive me. I know that Jesus forgives me, but I didn't forgive myself. And I think it's so important that we forgive ourselves. And that's honestly, for years I couldn't get over some of the things that I did in my life. I denied them. You know, even when people knew, I would say, "What are you talking about?" Um, I completely avoided the reality of certain situations. And it wasn't until probably I don't know, I've been in and out of AA for years, for decades actually. But this last time around, I'm about 2.5 years completely sober right now. It's not just the abstinence from alcohol, it's actually the sobriety that comes from self-love and self-healing. Even though other people forgave us, even though Jesus forgives us, it's the forgiveness of self. I think that true fulfillment starts to manifest itself. And when I did the fourth and fifth step this time around, for those of you who are familiar with AA, and if you're not, you can always Google it or whatever. I Googled the instead of just doing a fourth step on a one sheet of paper where I'm writing down a few resentments that I have, a few things that I'm ashamed of, a few unsettled feelings down, and then sharing them with somebody else in a fifth step. Instead of doing a fourth step on one or two sheets of paper, what I did is I Googled the How program from Overeaters Anonymous, which is a different recovery program that I'm not in. But I know that they have probably the most thorough fourth step inventory questionnaire out there. They have 155 different questions, starting with the very earliest parts of childhood, through your adolescence, through your first sexual experiences, through your first shameful experiences, through your earliest resentments, through everything. And I think I must have wrote, I don't know, God, it was dozens of typewritten pages going through my entire life. And really, as I started digging down deep into my early childhood and then through my adolescence, and writing down everything that I've ever stolen. I mean, I wrote pages of stuff that I stole, but getting all that stuff out, as I started really digging into each subject, I started peeling off more and more layers of that onion. And I got deeper and deeper to my core. And I found out some of the reasons that I had so much self shame and self dislike and a lot of things that I was hiding. And when I was able to finally write all that stuff down on a paper, and then I spent 8 hours reading that paper to other members of AA, my sponsor, another former sponsor, another person that had 30 plus years in the program, as well as a couple of my very close friends, lifelong friends, and my girlfriend. I shared that stuff and became extremely vulnerable. I owned it, And when I owned it, it was so freeing to share that with another human being. And that's the first time in my life that I've ever been able to actually start to forgive myself. And that self-forgiveness creates such a pathway for healing and for personal growth, unlike anything else. So on this Easter Sunday, and we're thanking Jesus and God for our forgiveness for our sins. It's really important that we recognize that we gotta forgive ourselves. And the first step in forgiving ourselves, whether you're in some sort of recovery program or not, is write it all down on a piece of paper and share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that you trust. And these are things that I shared that were just, it's so shameful. I mean, I did some really, really rotten things, especially in my the first half of my life, and even some things that I did after, even in the last 10 years that I wasn't very proud of, that I really don't like about myself. But until I actually owned it, until I actually shared it with another human being, and said, you know what, this is me. These are the mistakes that I've made, and owned that I had self-hatred for that, I wasn't able to let go of it. It was just hiding in my back pocket, weighing me down. And that's what I'm working on now is the following step, 6 and 7, which is drop the rock and letting go of that stuff. And I tell you what, man, this program of recovery is not just about drinking, it's about living. And that's the big difference. I wish I was introduced to AA in a way a lot of years ago, where I really understood the power of that 4th and 5th step, because that was the life changer for me. Instead of doing the 1, 2, 3 shuffle out, this is something that really made me committed, and it changed my life completely. And when I can love myself instead of hate myself, when I can enjoy being me, and appreciate my mistakes, I don't have the regrets. I love you too. Mwah. And I can love myself. And that's what life's about, man. So have a happy Easter, and be kind to each other, and forgive yourself for the things that are weighing you down. And if you have a hard time forgiving yourself, God will forgive you if you ask for it. And I'm not some holy roller. I believe in those things. But I absolutely believe in self-forgiveness. But in order to forgive yourself, you got to hear from other people, what you did is fucked up, but it's okay. And when you hear that, it's freeing. I felt like 1,000,000 pounds came off my shoulders. So it's important to forgive yourself. Have a great day. Have a happy Sunday. Have a happy Easter. And enjoy this beautiful life that God gave us. And be happy that we're living another day. Anyway, I try to put as much stuff here on my YouTube channel as I can to just share parts of my life with other people, because maybe it will inspire some change in you, or change in other people. So I've got a long way to go. I'm far from perfect. I'm a total mess in a lot of ways in my life, but it's progress, not perfection, right? So have a great day. Happy Sunday, and happy Easter.